It is finally here, dudes. Oh my gosh. So in this one, you're going to learn how to make this automatic tree farm that gets you about 8,000 plus logs per hour. And this tree farm is special because this tree farm works with 4 different kinds of logs. It works with oak, birch, jungle, and now this new and improved version works with spruce, as you can see in the background here. Basically how it works is you have someone in here AFKing, putting down the saplings. There's bone meal making the trees grow. All the logs get pushed out to the front, and then there's a TNT duplicator that is blowing up all the logs, and then we have a collection system. It also breaks down all the leaves so that we can just get a constant stream of saplings going into the person AFKing. This has been the most requested farm on my channel ever. Like ever. You guys really wanted to see this farm, and here it is. So make sure you show it some love. All right, without any further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. I put a lot of time and effort into my videos, and I would really appreciate it if you left a subscribe. It's free, it takes about 2 seconds, and you can always unsubscribe later if you really want. Do you want to play on a Minecraft server with me and receive some other really cool benefits? Definitely consider becoming a Patreon today. Before we get started, just keep in mind that this is a big farm, and you are going to need about a 20 by 25 area to fit this in, and then you're going to need at least about 20 height on this thing. So when you're starting off, look for an area that's large enough, like a big open field like this, or just somewhere where you want to put this thing. And here are the materials that you actually need to build this farm. Go ahead and pause the screen right here so you can get the list of materials. Also, you're going to need a lot of bone meal. This is not going to cover the farm. You're going to need a lot more bone meal than this, and you should have a bone meal farm, which I do have a bone meal farm design on my channel, so definitely go check that out. It'll be linked down below as well. Okay, so to start off, you're going to need a piece of dirt. It doesn't have to be grass, it can be dirt. And then make that the 3rd block off the ground. And then this is going to be the platform where you're going to be looking at the grass to actually be holding down right click to actually place the saplings. So make that 2 blocks away and 1 block down. And then we know that right here, right next to us, this is the spot where we want our dispenser to be, and have it be facing into you. So what that means is, and then these are temporary blocks, so you can get rid of that. And what that means is that now we need all of the hoppers around this thing pointing into this dispenser right here. And we're also going to want to be collecting all the drops from the leaves of the tree, at least 2 blocks away from the dirt. So yeah, 1, 2 on all sides at least. So go ahead and get all the hoppers so that they're all facing in this direction. And then there's another thing that we need to keep in mind, and that's that we're going to need to get all of the bone meal up to where the sapling is going to be. So we need to go ahead and put a dropper facing up like that, and then put a dispenser right on top of it. And we're going to have a different line of hoppers going into the dropper, so that is going to come out from the side just like that. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to cover up these hoppers so that no drops from the leaves get into these hoppers here. So let's go ahead and cover all these hoppers up. We're going to want to put a chest on this one, and that's actually where all the bone meal is going to go into this thing. So now you need to put these 2 building blocks right here, and I'm using iron blocks as my building block. You can use whatever building block you want. And we have these here because they're going to have redstone on them. That's going to power the dropper and the dispenser, which is going to dispense the bone meal onto the saplings. So now we need to put the hoppers, connect all these hoppers up to the dispenser that's going to be giving us the saplings without making any of these hoppers in the way of these 2 blocks. So when you're done placing all the hoppers, they should look like this, and they should all be pointing in these directions. So now we're going to need an immovable block on top of this dropper right here. I like using furnaces because they're cheap, but you can also use obsidian. And then we need a power source on the side of the immovable block like that. So go ahead and put a redstone torch on the side. Then we need 2 repeaters facing into the block where the trees are going to grow. Now we need to put a sticky piston underneath the dirt block that we're going to be growing the saplings on. Attach a redstone block to the sticky piston just like that. 2 blocks away is where we're going to be taking the output for when the tree actually grows. So go ahead and put building blocks just like this. Once you have everything looking like this, let's go ahead and start making the arms for this thing. Okay, so the first step of making the arms is putting these sticky pistons in place. So we're going to make a double piston extender, and to place these sticky pistons in the correct place, make sure that they are 4 blocks away. So there's 4 blocks in between where the sticky pistons begin, and then also the dirt block. Also make that there's 1 block gap between the sticky piston and the hoppers underneath. If you didn't catch how tall these were before, they are 7 blocks tall. And then the next step is to put in the faces of the double piston extenders, rotating slime and honey. So it should look just like this when you're done on each side. Now that you have the walls on both sides, make sure that the walls are 5 by 7 tall. So 5 wide, 7 tall. And then the next step is to put all of the fence gates on. And what you do for that is you just place the fence gates on the wall like this and make sure that you open them all. Okay, so you should cover both walls with the open fence gates, except for these 5 blocks right here. These 5 blocks need to be redstone blocks. So when you're done, it should look like this. Next, we need to work on the output actually getting to these double piston extenders. So make sure that you put in this line of blocks that looks like this. Next, we're going to put in the power sources for each of the sticky pistons to actually trigger, and it's gonna look like this, where this one is an immovable block. Again, I'm using a furnace, but you can use obsidian if you want. And then we're gonna have redstone dust up top. These two in the middle, they're both iron blocks, or just normal building blocks. And then this is gonna have redstone dust going on top of it. This one needs a repeater with 4 ticks just like that, and this one needs a repeater with 2 ticks just like that. And then we're gonna do this all the way up, and we're gonna skip every other array of sticky pistons just like this until we go up to the top. And we're also going to do this on both sides. We're going to do it on this side as well. Okay, when you're done putting in the power sources, it should look like this. Double check all the repeaters just to make sure that they all have the correct time. Otherwise, the machine will break. Next, on this left side, make a glass staircase so that you can get redstone up to every single one of these levels, and make sure that you connect the redstone so it looks just like this. Down at the bottom here, we're going to put a repeater with just a 1 tick delay on it going into that block, which is going to trigger that redstone dust, and then we're going to connect this into the middle just like that. On this right side, we're going to mirror that same exact thing, so have the glass staircase with redstone all the way up. And then also make sure that there's a repeater with just the normal 1 tick delay going into that block right there. Now it's time to actually test the arms and make sure they're all working. So all you have to do is put a lever on this block right here and switch it. Make sure they all extend twice, which it looks like all of mine did. And then pull it back. Make sure they all pull back twice, which all of mine did. This is a quick vibe check. Let me know how hard you're vibing down in the comments below. And if you're vibing hard, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so that you can join the Dusty tribe. Cool, let's get back into the video. The next thing we're going to work on is the double piston extender in the middle that's actually going to push all of the logs forward. So make sure you have 2 pistons in the same formation in the back in this place where it's just off the edge of where the hoppers are. You also need to put logs going all the way up this, and these blocks do need to be logs, otherwise it's going to make you waste a bunch of bone meal. So the way that you have to power these is just like this, where this front block is just a normal building block. This one has to be an immovable block. These back 2 are just normal building blocks. 4 tick delay going into this front piston, 2 tick delay going into this back piston. And the same as we did on the other double piston extenders, we're going to do this on every 2 blocks. So everywhere where I put the iron block here. So when you're done with all the power sources, it should look like this. And again, double check the delays on the repeaters to make sure they are correct. Otherwise, it'll break the whole machine. And again, to get the power source up there, we are going to do the same thing with the stairs of glass that the redstone go up. Also, make sure that this repeater right here is just set to the normal 1 tick delay. We need to put a cap on this farm so that we don't get any crazy oak trees in here, because that will break it. So what we need to do is we need to count up 9 blocks from the dirt block down there and just leave a block on the 9th block. So that is 9 blocks high. And then what we need to do is get rid of these other 8 blocks right here. Okay, so far the machine should look like this. Again, we can test it to make sure everything's working okay with this lever right here. Push that on. It looks like everything got double extended, even these ones in the middle now. And then just pull the lever to see if everything gets retracted correctly, and everything got retracted correctly. The next step is to hook up the redstone to the clock that we're going to make. That's going to shoot out the bone meal out of the dispenser right here, and also make the on and off switch. So you're gonna have to make a ditch that looks kind of like this, and then we're gonna have to make a redstone line that goes all the way across the ditch and leads into a block right there. We're also gonna need a line of redstone that goes from the block that's underneath the dispenser right here and goes all the way up until it's up there. Right here where this line leads into this solid block, we're gonna need a redstone torch on the side. We're going to put a sticky piston right there, which is going to shoot out and extend. And then when we put in this other observer, it's going to start the clock. Then you can go ahead and cover up the line of redstone that's underneath here. That's going to be the on and off switch, just like this. The on and off switch is going to go right here. When you switch that lever to be in the on position, it's actually going to turn the machine off because it's going to retract that piston over there. And then when you turn it on, it's going to give us our clock to power both this dispenser and that dispenser right there. Next, we need to work on the collection system, which is going to look like a little ditch that is 5 by 8, just like this. Then we're going to fill this back row with water sources so all the water streams come to the end. We're going to want all of our drops to come over here into that chest right there. So what we need to do is put a line of hoppers from the end of the water stream going into that chest. So the collection system should look like this when you're all done. Next, we need to think about where the TNT is actually going to drop, which it needs to drop right here on that block. It needs to be right next to where the logs are actually going to come out, and then put it 2 blocks off of the ground. And this block either needs to be obsidian or ancient debris if you really want to flex. Once we have that, we need to build up 12 blocks with any building block and start making the TNT duplicator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. To start the TNT duplicator, just put 2 leaves just like that. When you put down the 2 leaves, you're going to put leaves on top of it that look like this and make a little boat with a water stream so we can get all the TNT that's going to be duping to go down in this exact spot right on top of the obsidian. Once we have all this made, we can go ahead and take away these blocks. Now it's time to make the TNT duplicator, which is going to look like this. So when you make the TNT duplicator, it should look like this, which is an L of slime blocks in the back, just like that. A coral fan, which it can be any type of coral fan. You just have to wait till it dries out. TNT, a wall. It can be any type of wall. It does have to be a wall. And then another L of slime blocks just like this. An activator rail down here. Make sure that it's facing into the slime block and into the wall. So it's facing like this way. And then a minecart on top of it. You're also going to need the sticky piston here and a solid block right here. Put the lever on just so that we can test this thing. Before we actually test it, we need to put in the rest of this wall just to make sure that the TNT stays inside of the canal. So now when we pull this lever, it's going to prime the machine. So we pull it back and now it's ready to go. So the next time we pull this, it's going to dupe the TNT, and the TNT is always going to drop in that one exact spot. So we can just sit here and do this all day long now. Next, we're going to make the clock for actually activating the TNT. So this is going to be an etho hopper clock, and what we're going to do is put 2 hoppers in the middle facing into each other. We're going to put 2 comparators coming out, redstone dust on top of these blocks that those are facing into. We're going to put a sticky piston on the side of that dot and a sticky piston on the side of that dot. Then we're going to put redstone in the middle, and then in the middle of these hoppers, what we need to do is make sure that we leave 4 items. That right there needs to be 4. If you don't put 4 items in there, it will break the farm. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take an output so that every time that this machine duplicates a TNT, it's also going to let it go from a fence gate down there. So the way to do that is to put a redstone torch right there, a line of redstone dust down these stairs. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stairs, loop that around just like that. And then we're going to have 8 different repeaters facing this way into a redstone line right there. 7 of these repeaters need to have full tick, so make sure that 7 of them have 4 tick delay, and then this last one should have a 2 tick delay just like that. On the end here, we are going to put a fence gate and make sure that that's open just to start with, just to be safe. If you've checked every single repeater and you know that this thing is hooked up correctly, we can go ahead and test this thing. All we need to do to test it is by turning this lever off, and we'll see it duplicates the TNT. The signal goes down to the fence gate, and then it gets dropped at the correct time. Now all we need to do is hook up the redstone line from down there up to here. And we're going to do that with a torch tower. So go ahead and hook up this line, which this comes out 4, and then this comes out another 3. So then on this 8th one right here that comes out from the hoppers, it's going to start to come up. And then we need 5 torches. So we need this to be a redstone torch tower, and we need 5 torches going up. So the torch tower should look like this when you're done making it. And to connect this torch tower up, all you need to do is make a redstone line that goes into a solid block right here that has a redstone torch sitting on top of it. It's also a good idea to make a wall out of leaves just like this to make sure that all the drops from the leaves actually do end up in those hoppers. Make sure you put some bone meal in this chest, and make sure you put some bone meal in this dispenser. Now I brought my AFK camera account over here. All we have to do is switch this thing on. We'll start to get spruce trees coming out and the TNT will drop. Here's the farm with a tick warp just so that you can see that nothing breaks and we will get lots of logs from this thing. After just 20 seconds of that tick warp, we have over 5 stacks of spruce logs, which is absolutely crazy. I know a lot of you guys requested this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one and show the video some love. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.